Well, ladies and gentlemen, something a little bit different. It's very rare, very seldom that we get an opportunity to actually get with a wrestler and talk to them about not so much the matches that are coming up and your feud with this person or the other person. We've had a lot of people say we want to get to know the man. And I've got the man.
The modern man.
The modern man.
The modern man. Emphasis on the modern man. Yeah, that's me, Calvin Coco.
Calvin Coco.
Good to see it.
Yeah, you too, man. The people love you.
I know why. I know, because I love the people. It's a reciprocal thing. I think energy is reciprocal. I give it to them, they give it to me, and everybody has a great time.
Yeah. Well, you are sort of a charismatic guy. I mean, you're the kind of a guy, people look at you and they're, okay, he's a pretty cool dude.
I mean,
right?
I've been fortunate to be blessed with some traits that may be described as charismatic or a people person, but I don't know, it's just natural to me. I enjoy the people.
Yeah.
I try to be myself, and for some reason myself has been doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'd say so. Tell us about the early upbringing. Where are you from?
Well, St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised.
Yeah.
You know, love it there. Plan to leave, but will always call it home. Got a wonderful family. They instill love and hard work and passion in me from an early age. I was very, very blessed, I would say. Got a couple siblings. I'm the oldest of 3. That's great. That's some of my first wrestling matches. Me and my little brother on the mattress, hanging the ladder from the ceiling. We broke a few, but they were close to 5-star matches, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I would say.
In the Wrestling Observer, right? 5.5 stars.
I mean, maybe in my mother's Wrestling Observer, but you know, we had a good time and we didn't die. So
yeah.
That's all that matters.
What about sports in school?
Well, I played basketball pretty much year-round, all year, from like 5 to 22. Played a little bit collegiately back in Missouri. And then I kind of gave it up, and I couldn't really find that next thing. And then one day I was scrolling YouTube, and I saw a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I was like, oh. Then I watched Pumping Iron, I was like, oh, I need to go to the gym. So I was kind of scrawny. I was maybe 150 pounds, and I was a little self-conscious. So I would go to the gym at like 1 in the morning when nobody was there and just work out, go home, eat, do my thing in the day. But I was so self-conscious, I just felt small and weak and like. But eventually, one day I walked into the house. My mom was like, "Are you on steroids?" I was like, "No, Mom, I just been going to the gym." And then I noticed the gains, as they say. And I fell in love with the gym, and then that led to me randomly going into a protein store, and then this guy was like, "Hey, you ever thought about bodybuilding?" And I was like, "Actually, yeah." And then he coached me for my first show. Did well, but didn't win, and then took a year off, trained, and then my next show, I won.
Now, how old were you?
The first show, I think that's 2019, so I was 24.
Okay.
And then the second show was 2021, so 2 plus. I was 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you won your second show?
I won so I'm gonna just get on the soapbox here. The second show was crazy. I trained my butt off for months. Dieting was great. Had a new coach. She felt like I was in great shape. Posing was better than ever. And back to basketball, I would play weekly just to keep the cardio up, hang out with the homies. And Saturday before the show, I'm leaving. My roommate was like, "You sure you want to play basketball? Your show's next week." I was like, "Yeah, it'll be fine." Woo! It was a great time until I broke my wrist. I went for a layup, and for some reason, this guy decided to knock me out the air. I caught my fall, broke my wrist. It was like a hairline fracture. I'm freaking out. My homies are freaking out because they know I have a bodybuilding show in 7 days. So I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Go to the emergency room. Yeah, it's a hairline fracture. We get the cast on. I call my coach, and he's like, "Let's mellow out, think about it for 2 days." And then he was like, "All right, how bad does it hurt?" We talked about it, and I decided to do the show. So I showed up, no cast, didn't tell anybody, did my thing, won the show, won best poser, and then as soon as I got my medals, I put my sling back on, and I put my cast on, and I walked out, slinged up, cast up with 2 medals and a pro qualification OCB. I went pro. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, did you break your wrist?" I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Wow, you just beat us with a broken wrist." And I was like, "I guess so." A broken freaking wrist. That's my Kurt Angle moment. One of the best days of my life. I have a picture with the sword that I won, the 2 medals, and the sling, and I was smiling so hard because that was just one of the first examples of just sticking to the plan no matter what adversity can happen. And then, yeah.
You're afraid about doing the bodybuilding again?
Yeah. I took some time off because I had a broken wrist. and then somehow found wrestling. So right now I'm focusing on the wrestling, but there will be a time where I'm a wrestling champion and a bodybuilding champion at the same time.
Let's talk about the wrestling. At what point did you meet Michael Elgin?
Well, that's a crazy story too. So I'm in the gym, of course, back to the gym, one of my favorite places. This guy walks up to me, he has a hood on, hoodie, in this hot gym. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. And he's like, hey, can you give me a spot? And I'm like, yeah, of course. So he goes over to the incline bench and he gets down, he pulls out these 150s. And I'm like, whoa, all right, bro, go ahead. And he reps them out for about 6-7 reps. Didn't need the spot. I think he just needed the spot just in case. So we finished them. So I was like, damn, dude, good job. Gave him a little nut, whatever. And he's like, yeah, man, I could have did more. My elbow's been messed up. I've been wrestling for 20 years. I was like, wrestling? And I was like, I'm a fan, of course. And I said, wrestling. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, where? And he goes, oh, Impact, New Japan, Ring of Honor. I was like, wait a minute, I know those places. And he gets up, he takes the hood off, and as soon as he takes the hood off, it was like an episode of Star Wars. And it was like, this was Yoda, and I felt like I was Luke Skywalker, and it was Michael Elgin. And I wasn't super well versed on non-WWE wrestling, but I knew who he was because my little brother watched New Japan Wrestling, and he had recently shown me a match between Elgin and Kenny Omega, and he's like, you gotta watch this Elgin guy. And I was like, all right, yeah. So then here he is at the gym, and I'm like, oh my God, I know you. And he's like, yeah, what's up, brother? We shook hands, yada, yada, woo-de-woo. And we just were gym friends for a while, and we would always chat in the gym, talk about wrestling, whatever, whatever. And then one day, out of the blue, I'm with one of my gym friends just talking, and he walks up to me, he's like, hey man, I know you got dedication put in there. I see you in the gym all the time. You told me you used to do some wrestling training, because I did go to a school for 2 months, then I quit. That's a different story. Yeah. But he's talking to me, and he's like, hey, if you're ever interested in wrestling, just let me know. I got you. And I was like, all right, dude, sure. Didn't take him, like, seriously at all. I just, in one ear, out the other, I'm like, whatever, dude. Because in my head, I couldn't be a wrestler. Right. So months go by. We're still friends, talking every time, and every time I see him, say what's up. So then the weekend of WrestleMania 39, I'll never forget. I'm watching it with my brother. Those 2 days, I was in a weird mental space. Long story short, I was just in my room crying. It was weird. But then I stopped crying to watch wrestling with my brother these 2 days. So then Monday comes. I go into the gym. I'm sitting in the car, and I have a conversation with myself. And I say, God, if I see this bald white man in the gym, I'm going to take him up on his offer. So sure enough, I walk in the gym, the first person I see is Michael Elgin. And I looked over and I was like, oh no. I walked out the gym. I walked back out the gym and went into the car, acted like I forgot something in hopes that he would leave and then I could go in and avoid the situation altogether. So I sat there for about 5 minutes and I was like, all right, I need to go in the gym. I put my headphones in, walk in, and I tried to do the whole, I can't hear you, I got my headphones in thing, walk past him. He was saying, Calvin, Calvin. Calvin! And then I couldn't keep walking. He was talking kind of loud, so I was like, oh, what's up, man? He's like, hey, did you watch Mania this weekend? I was like, of course I watched Mania. So I went and sat next to him on the treadmill. We talked about 5 minutes, and then I said, you know, you remember that offer you offered me back in January about the wrestling? What's up? And he's like, hey, take my number, we'll chat. And the rest is history.
Any regrets?
No.
What injuries? You were injured not too long ago.
Yeah, that back situation with Malice. You know, that's not my fault. That's the Warriors' way fault. Yeah. You know, they used the underhanded tactics. Yeah. It didn't need to come to no DQ, but I don't need. This is a happy moment. Let's not get to that.
Okay. How about goals for the future?
Oh man.
You want the gold, right?
The gold, the goals. What's the word they use? Lofty, as in high, like a loft, like a ceiling. Like we're thinking the ceiling of the Empire State Building. Very high. Don't know what exactly is up there, but it's high.
Only one way to get there, and you're on your way.
Elevators, stairs, walking, I don't care. I'm going to get there.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate it. Calvin Coco, the Modern Man.